Hello. Today we will be doing Heroes Advent. This first came out in early 2021. It's about the main character named Dave, who ends up getting transported from his world to a totally new and unfamiliar world. This game contains mature content focused on male characters. It is not suitable for people below 18. Heroes Advent is still in early development and is not nearing completion by any means. Certain assets are temporary and might subject to change in future updates. You begin to trip over your feet as you continue down the seemingly endless stone corridor at top speed. It was chasing you again tonight. You weren't sure what it was, but its overbearing presence had become a familiarity to you. Chill white the windows flashed by, showing snapshots of a quickly decaying world. There's no saver out there it was inside. A quick breeze runs across your skin as if wherever it was had struck at you. The hairs on the back of your neck rise in terror that was new. A hand tried to make a grab at you. It had definitely gotten closer. You had never looked behind you to confirm. You just knew it was always behind you. It was always in pursuit. Grrr. A low growl calls from behind you, commanding in a gruff voice that weighed you down, slowing your pace as you hear it mutter. You hear your name on its breath. Dave. Stop. You, Dave. You stop running, compelled to listen close to this thing's call, and despite being ripe for the picking, it maintains its distance. It had stopped chasing you, but you were sure it was still there. Dave. It calls your name again. It stopped chasing you, decide to. You turn around completely to face your relentless pursuer, expecting either nothing but air or some lumbering nightmare creature that would explain its oppressive presence. To your surprise, it was neither. Only a short distance across before you was a tattered cloak fluttering where it stood. You eyed it for another moment as it remained suspended in midair. You almost breathed a sigh of relief before realizing there was indeed someone or something beneath the cloak. What? Your voice is cut short, intimidated as you felt the piercing gaze beneath the cloak hood. The figure beneath said nothing, locking eyes on where you supposed its eyes would be. Why are you following me? You remain unresponsive. You take a tentative step towards it, your curiosity now outweighing your fear, intrigued to see for the first time what had been haunting you night after night. It remained there, looming but unmoving, save for the fluttering cloak outlining its figure. You reach out for the hem of the fluttering cloak to pull it off the figure, only to have something tightening around your wrist firmly. Ah! You recall trying to pull yourself free from its grasp that held you in place. You could only weave in pains to try in vain to escape. The more you struggled, the deeper the pain dug into your flesh. As suddenly as it began, you were propelled backwards onto the ground. Whatever this thing was, it had released your hand, but even still the pain only intensified. Clawing at the burning sensation, you flinched as sharp serrated edges scraped your fingers, blood pouring around them. The dark fragments glistened with your blood, like glass silver against your palm, and somehow they continued to spread. From your wrist it spreads quickly outward to your fingers, then up the length of your arm before ultimately engulfing your head. You didn't have a chance to scream by the time it had reached your throat. The figure remained where it was, the hood tilted down to watch you with its unseen eyes. It was the last thing you could see before the black shards completely covered up your eye sockets. Turn. Ah! You wake up screaming in a cold sweat opening your eyes to the darkness. Whoa, what is it? The familiar voice shakes you from the waking nightmare as a white flash of light illuminates the room. You wouldn't stop being blinded by the light. It took you a few moments to regain your bearings to find yourself back in your apartment bedroom. You breathed a sigh of relief. Was it that dream again? Yeah, Carl. It was the same dream. You started to wipe away the sweat from your head. I think it got close to me this time. It actually touched me. Your hand instinctively reached for your wrist. Not a single cut or bruise on it. This has been going for a month now, hasn't it? Why don't you go see your daughter about it? Here's why. The dreams have been plaguing you every night for the past month. They were starting to cut into your waking life. Your job and academic performances have begun to slip, which was all the more reason you couldn't stop now. Your body sobers up as you heave a heavy sigh. No. We can't afford that right now. We're barely scraping by on rent between classes away, right? I'll be alright. I just need some time. If you say so. You saw Carl reaching over to switch off the lights, but decided to leave it on for the time being. You lay back down, snuggling against your pillow to try to get back to sleep, to no avail. Every time you close your eyes to see the dark holes again in the incapacitating rigidity in your arms. You know, I've been having trouble sleeping too. You turned to the bed on the opposite side of the room. Carl lay there, staring towards the ceiling. Oh yeah? Yeah. Just been thinking a lot lately about the future, like, what to do after college. Maybe I aim for a job that pays well, trying to save up to afford my own things. Maybe start a family someday. You give a mocking scoff as you both laugh at the notion. Heh, wishful thinking, I know. What about you? Me? Well, what will I do after college? Go back home. You repeat the words you hear whisper into your ear. Where did that come from? Go back, huh? What? Your Carl didn't say that then. You sighed. Your mind must be playing tricks on you. The lack of sleep is definitely getting to you. I mean, yeah, maybe we should pay Pops a visit sometime. Been a while since we left him back in the orphanage. You're right. Kinda wonder how he's doing these days, or if he misses us at all. He didn't say much the day we left. Old Costa should be fine, you know how he is. You chuckled. Pops was what you used to call the old caretaker at the orphanage you both came from. The two of you go silent as there's a lull in the conversation. The silence of the night fills the room as you lay with your eyes open. You start to wonder if you're ever going to get back to sleep when Carl speaks up again. Now that I think about it, the reason I'm losing sleep is also about home. Wait, you have nightmares too? Nothing as intense as yours, but it's been keeping me up for a while. Got me thinking about how I ended up there and how we got here. Pops told me that my parents died in a car crash. I was too young to know what was going on, and still have dreams about that day, that huge-ass truck from the side window. I'm sorry, Carl. I didn't. Yeah, it's rough. We just have to face it and move on, as they say. Silence takes over once again as your mind wanders. Think of it further. You weren't sure about your future as much as your past. Well, Pops said he found me crying on the front porch one night. There was no sign of my parents or whoever left me there. He tried to ask around for a while, but eventually gave up. I see. Hey, maybe one day you can finally meet them again. Who knows? Maybe, yeah. You looked through the window. It was still dark outside. You decided to hop out of bed and put on your strolling shoes. Going somewhere? Uh-huh. Think I'm gonna head out for a walk. You coming? Yeah, nah. Unlike you, I have class at like 7 tomorrow. I'm going back to sleep. Alright, good night, Carl. Yeah. Alright, Dave? Uh-huh. Take it easy, okay? Things are gonna get tougher next term. Better make the most out of your vacation. Yeah, thanks, Carl. See you tomorrow. You can hear your friend flipping off the light as you close the apartment door and headed down the streets. You step outside your apartment, throwing the top of your hoodie over your head. The weather wasn't particularly cold, but it never hurt to have it on. Your legs immediately take you into the west of a small park not far from the residential district. You've long discarded those thoughts about a nightmare now that you're outside. They've always faded rather quickly when you left for classes out of the way. Your eyes glazed over as you went into autopilot, turning to the running trail and followed it through, now surrounded by a more comforting darkness dimly lit by streetlights. As the last traces of the nightmare faded, your mind turned back to the conversation you just had with Carl. and the odd voice that whispered into your ear. Go back. Go back where, though? The first back you can think to remember were the days at the orphanage. That was the closest thing you had to a home. Maybe I should go back home. Maybe these dreams have been a sign. Carl's right. Things will only get harder from here on out. No point in barking just yet. We got the next month off, too. Maybe we should get our bus back. See how our old man is holding up. Take a break from all this. Huh? You rolled your eyes. Your sight seemed to be getting darker. Maybe sleep is always trying to overtake you. With a sigh, you decide to turn back. You head along the path you took back to the main street, but as you went further, everything seemed to get even darker. What on earth? Don't tell me my eyes are going bad too. Staring directly at the lamp post that offered you the light didn't help. You had to squint to see the specks of yellow light. Probably you shouldn't have stayed up all night, not that the nightmares helped. You sigh as a wide smile crossed your lips. On the sleepless nights, aside from catching up on assignments, you had often found yourself mindlessly browsing those furry forums, role-playing or otherwise. It had been a small comfort to you all these years, something you and Carl used to bond over. The diverse characters and a range of products made from all sorts of craftsmen, from artworks and animations to stories and figurines. You collected quite a few as memorabilia now tucked away in a drawer. Your smile faltered as reality came seeping back. It was something you used to bond over before you both moved to the city to attend college. Ever since things began to get harder with higher education, Carl began to distance himself from the hobby. He'd always sold off any piece from his collection that you hadn't the heart to accept from him. He still enjoyed the medium with you, just not as much as he hated your friendship. It never created a wedge between you, but without him there, it had felt isolated again, despite the many other people you had interacted with online. For the moment you could only feel anger festering from within. Your throat felt parts of frustration as you screamed from the top of your lungs. And yet the quiet you expected was not there. Somehow you could not hear yourself breathe either. You stopped yourself while frantically looking around. Did you get so lost in thought that you wandered too far? The air was pitch black, the night sound drowned out by a deafening sun, no light from the stars or the city skyline. The ground beneath you began to turn as you felt your feet pulled from under you. You couldn't even hear yourself scream as you fell weightlessly into the ground. You brace for impact, nothing. You strain your eyes, trying to make sense of anything. You seem to be falling in place, just like how it was in those many nightmares. You attempted to scream louder as panic set in, only a mountain of hollow squeaks as your arms flailed desperately in search of something to latch onto. Your wrists began to burn in the same place that creature had grabbed you once before. You couldn't see what it was, but it definitely felt all the same. This disguise. You won't fool others any longer. Once came in pinpricks, sharp jabs into your skin, as if something was extracted from it. The sensation expanded to your hand palm, caked in dried skin, and nails seemingly pulled out of your fingers. You desperately clawed at whatever was happening to you, scratching at the frayed strands of hair on your arm as if extended upwards. You only stop when you feel a sharp claw dig into your arm. You were coiled in fear before quickly realizing it was your own hand clawing at you. Your other arm began to alter as well. Your shoes began to feel unbearably tight as your feet seemed to bloat and expand, your bones cracking, breaking, mass beneath the further stabbing extrusion for the skin filling in. The struggle ends with you curling into yourself, legs pressed inward, arms wrapped around you as a burning sensation bursts forth from your torso, agonizing pain as your heart beat erratically. The burning sensation in your lungs caused your eyes to snap open as your hips and genitals twisted and contorted into new forms before to return into your body. You dug your claws into your sides, biting your lips as a magical pain washed over your back, rapidly climbing along your spines up onto your neck. At last you found your voice. You heard your screams of agony as you felt the skull crushed and stretched into painful shapes. Your scalp itches and skin is stretched upward like soft-fleshed horns. The suffering felt unending. Eventually a terrifying jolt shot through the spine toward your lower back, where bones and tissues seemed to poke outward. Good, a worthy vessel. Now, come to me, child. You should be my champion. The voice barely registered through the pain as a rush of air plunged you further into the abyss. You didn't care where it was or where it was taking you. You were sure that it would be to your death. Your head to floor and body trembling in shock. Come to me. Come to me. There was a crack in the darkness. A different voice whispered into your ears this time. Crack, crack, crack. A whiff began to break amid the void as heavy light pierced through the abyss. Its blinding radiance left you dazed, and yet you felt something pulling you towards it. Guided by the echoing call of this new voice, you mustered what little left of your strength. You mustered what little left of your strength to reach for it. As light overtook your vision and a loud crackle filled your ears, for the first time forever you felt something other than pain. You felt the weight seemingly lifted as a warm breeze enveloped your form. You felt free. You must be in heaven now, though everything felt heavy again as the blinding light dwindled. You felt like crowd, chest heaving and blowing fire from everything that just happened. You were lying against solid ground. The faint shade of green at the corner of your eyes reminded you of the forest part you were in, but something felt different. It was still too hard to see anything under the blurry light simmering in the distance. Oh, thank goodness, I managed to find you. Oh, thank goodness, I managed to find you. A brown elongated blur into your field of vision. You can barely make out the shape of the person standing above you. After squinting for a moment, you can make out the shape of a woman, a body woman, like those in the drawings you had seen. You weakly reach a hand out to her. She takes it into her warm, furry ones. You hiss. The slightest contact will ignite your wounds. Are you real? You barely mutter with what strength you had left. If this really is heaven, then she must be an angel sent from the world beyond to guide your soul through. As well as I can get, dear, she cooed, easing your hand back down your reaction. That's so cool. You could only think of those words when your vision darkened entirely, head slamming against the ground. You sprung up in bed, looking around yourself before breathing a sigh of relief. That was one hell of a bad dream, but the darkness was finally gone and the morning has arrived. You have finally made it through. You haphazardly tossed the covers off and hopped out of the bed, ready to tackle the day ahead, only to feel your legs twisting as you fell back against the pillow. Ow, my head. You didn't feel it at first, but your legs were still rather sore and your head was spinning from vertigo. Oh, so good to see you awake. You had me dreadfully worried. You turned out to see who the feminine voice belonged to. It wasn't common for girls to show up in your apartment. Now, take it easy, dear. You had a rather nasty fall. What? It was a good thing I happened by you in the forest. You staring out at what was before you now. It was the same body woman you had seen in the dream before. You shook your head in disbelief. You must be dreaming still. And if that were the case, you must have been lucid dreaming all along. Looking down at yourself, you noticed your hands were also paused now. Not quite what you imagined your persona having, but anything goes in dreams. You can't possibly pass up this opportunity. Almost instinctively, you reached out and wrapped your arms around the body woman, who didn't seem to mind the sudden embrace all that much. Overtaken by excitement, you rubbed your face against her fur. The sensation felt so real, you didn't want it to end. I'm so happy to see you. You have no idea how long I've waited for this. As she gave you a smile, she couldn't help but blur out those thoughts. You know who I am? Her voice was sudden and incredulous. You immediately fell back on your own, startled by her reaction. Huh? That wasn't quite what you expected, but she reacted that way then. Ah, so it wasn't a dream. This existential dread started to sink in as you realized that all the darkness you witnessed and all the horrifying pain you endured were real, as well as a new addition to your anatomy here. You stare down your hands as you first stood on end when you realized that you now instead had those clawed paws hands. Those clawed paws of hands. You were still convinced you were just seeing things till after you moved them around a bit. The woman before you quickly reached for your paw hands, gripping them tightly. What happened to me? Where am I? Who are you? He yelped. Your head was starting to spin again as a flood of information rendered you nauseous. It is okay. You will not come here. You will not come to harm here. What's going on? What did you do to me? Help! Somebody help! I've been kidnapped! Okay, I think I've calmed down now. So that is how things are. That certainly is a peculiar set of circumstances. Yeah, I don't know where I am, how I got here, or how I even became like this. You motioned to your new body. This must be quite a lot for you to take in, to have your body altered so drastically. That must feel rather unfamiliar. You tested moving your limbs. It's definitely different from your human body, but there were still enough similarities to at least get a grasp on. Actually, it's not all that different from what I used to be. I could get used to this. You jumped up at the jarring feeling of your fluffy tail patting and brushing against your back. Well, mostly. The bunny woman gave you a concerned look as she handed you a bowl of water. Well, dear, if you have nowhere else to go, you may stay here with me, at least until we could find your way to get you back to your home. She gave you a sincere smile. Thank you, I appreciate it. I don't know what else to do at this point. You took a sip from the water, catching a glimpse of your reflection in it. What is it? Sorry, how shall I address you? Just ma'am will be fine. Understood. Well, not to be ungrateful, ma'am, but who are you? Oh, I haven't introduced myself. I'm called Lisa. I live in these woods. Lisa, huh? Well, thank you for saving me. There's no need to thank me. It was only fortunate placing my path dear. Oh, what will your name be? Oh, Dave, ma'am. Dave, your parents chose it well. You caught yourself before you oversaid that it was a name given to you at the orphanage. I believe that's enough talk for now. I'll just prepare breakfast. You can come help yourself in the kitchen once you regain your footing. I'll keep the food warm for you. Alright. Thank you, Lisa. You took a long stare into the bowl of water once more, a more concentrated review of your new features. You turned your head this way and that, with the reflection mirroring your every move. You noticed your ears twitching along as you looked at your muzzle from every angle. Yeah, that's definitely me in there, no doubt about it. You spent the next while exploring yourself, touching the ears on your head, wagging your tail, and examining the hands and hind paws. A quick inspection inside your pants quickly revealed even that had changed along with the rest of you. I guess there's no use in trying to deny it. I'm a furry now, and I'm nowhere near the apartment or the campus. Man, I'm hungry. Lisa said I had been out for 2 days now. Might as well get something to eat. I won't be able to do much on an empty stomach. Oh, you came. I was beginning to worry you wouldn't come out and eat. You can wash your hands here. Lisa stepped aside from the sink as you approached to wash your hands. Once finished, you turned to the stove to see the bunny had served your modest plate of food. You thanked her politely, taking a plate to eat at the dining table in the room. There was a bowl of some sort of stew, a soup or stew with an earthly color that reminded you of gravy. The smell was surprisingly light and pleasant, much like its taste. You breathed a sigh of relief that this was just the kind of food you could stomach your current state. You ate alone in silence as Elisa continued washing dishes in the sink, as she had been doing since you walked into the kitchen. The whole environment was different from what you were used to. The loud chaos of early morning traffic right outside your window and the hectic sounds of your neighbors slamming doors and stomping around the apartment complex. It was nice to have a meal with a bird song that wasn't from a speaker, and eating a home-cooked meal with actual ingredients as opposed to the fast food and instant meals you and Carl had to endure. Outside the house didn't seem anything unusual. The kitchen was well furnished and well stocked. If you had to make a guess, you have said you were in someone's little Garyville in the countryside. Your mind went back to the thought of you being kidnapped from the park again. Though seeing how awkwardly your paw is holding the spoon and how you almost smeared the soup in your muzzle, twice remind you that things might not have been so simple. You can always, you can have as much as you want, but don't push yourself to finish, and don't worry about leftovers either. You feel a common sensation as you notice Elisa giving you an affectionate pat on the head. Yes, ma'am. How are you feeling now that you've eaten? I feel slightly better, but I think I just want to go back to sleep. I see. You must still be exhausted at that ordeal. Feel free to lay back down. She took the plate back to the sink as you made your way back to the room you woke up in. This is just wild. You shook your head, still in disbelief, laying back down under the downy quilts. It's been a wild dream, but I think I'm ready to wake up now. It was definitely nicer than what I've been dreaming of. Maybe things are finally looking up. I hope I can remember what happened when I wake up in the morning. Carl probably wouldn't believe any of it otherwise. It's dark out. You can even hear the crickets chirping. This is all real, isn't it? You sat up in the bed, pressing your back into the headboard, lightly jostling the large crystal on a heavy base. The crystal awoke into a dim, incandescent light like a desk lamp your roommate held on his nightstand. The memory of a small pile of bullets on his bed crosses your mind as your hand idly brushes over your pocket, feeling the lumpy and rectangular outlines pressed against your pants. But I still have it with me. Your fingers dip into your pocket, pulling out your phone case in the lanyard where your apartment keys and key change hung from. I still have my phone. It still works. You're surprised the screen wasn't the least bit scratched or cracked after the ordeal you had gone through. Battery's not for long, though. Huh? A notification. It's from Carl. I'll meet you at the mess. Sounds good. Should I take the extras, too? The more the merrier. Those were old messages. Dude, you okay? You were in bed this morning. Where are you? Guess you took your vacay early. Take care, man. Hit me up whenever you want to talk again. How long was I out? Guy even no messages won't send. I guess the phone got these before I found that pet. Might as well turn it off. Say the battery's on emergency. With the blue light on the phone gone, you're left back in the orange glow of the crystal line above you. I wonder if everything will be alright back home. I wonder if I'll be alright. I wonder if. I hope Carl hasn't done anything rash like calling the police after I disappeared or something. He did think I went on vacation early, so maybe not. Not like I could do anything about it while I'm stuck here either way. Since he thinks I'm on my way on vacation, maybe that'll buy me some time. I left a lot of coursework still unfinished on my computer, and my absence is definitely going to put a dent in my already bad grades. Well, I guess it's not like they can really blame me if I've been sucked into some furry world. That is, if I can even get back somehow. I can't get any signal out here in this forest. It's probably far from any cell tower I could contact. Maybe there is a town or a city nearby that does. I wonder if my cell carrier even exists out here, or any carriers for that matter. But that won't happen if my battery dies from before then. The house seems to have some electricity for the lights, but I don't recall seeing any outlets or chargers around the place. Maybe I could ask Elisa about it, if I could remember to, that is. Well, it won't do me any good worrying about things beyond my control. Who knows? I might actually get a good night's sleep finally. Dave, are you alright in there, dear? You haven't come out all day. What? Huh? Oh, I slept. What time is it? It's still 1:30 sunrise. You've been asleep the whole day. Huh? I guess I really needed to sleep. I couldn't sleep well the past month. I'm glad to hear at least. Was it difficult to sleep where you're from? Not particularly. I was just having this repeat nightmare every night. It was this cloak thing that kept chasing after me. A cloak figure, was it? Yeah. Do you know something about it, ma'am? She shook her head dismissively. The concerned look replaced by the usual warm smile on her face. I've always heard dreams had some hidden meanings. I've never believed that much, however. And I'm glad that you're okay. I had begun to feel the worst when you had not stirred since you went to bed midday. I'm sorry to have worried you, Elisa. Worry not, Dave. It is of no consequence now. Now come, join me for breakfast. Gladly, ma'am. After washing your hands, Elisa hands you your plate, joining you shortly at the dining table. As Elisa helped herself to her breakfast, you look down at your plate. You can see that she's prepared a different meal for you this time around. On the plate were 2 slices of toast with thin slices of fried meat and egg on top. It actually quite remind you of your bread, eggs with bacon that you've seen before. It smells delicious. You didn't hesitate to dig in right away. This was perhaps the best breakfast you had for quite a while. That and how you slept in for an entire day was probably why the dish tasted so good. He gave a satisfied sigh after going through the meal quite voraciously. I see you have quite the appetite. You couldn't help feeling embarrassed as Elisa chuckled. She's been eyeing you this whole time. That's good. It means you are in better shape than the other day. Well, your cooking is really good too. Truth be told, I've been getting by on far worse meals, so having something this good is unheard of. Oh, do flatter me, Dave. These are just some home recipes I make once in a while. I see. Either way, thank you for the food, ma'am. You're welcome. Have as much as you like, too. In fact, I was wondering if you'd be willing to do a favor for me. A favor? Sure, what is it? I used the last of my herbs to make dinner last night. I had hoped you might be willing to assist me in gathering more. It would be for your sake as well. Yeah, I should probably help. You've been so kind to me, I haven't really done much to repay you. They raised you to be a responsible man, I see. Elisa shook her head, and every laughter escaping her. However, I meant for your well-being. It can't be healthy being cooped up indoors for days. I hope you could join me and get some fresh air along the way. She's right. I've been here for days now. I've done nothing more than eat and sleep. Yeah, I think it would really help clear my mind. Lovely. Once we finish eating and doing the dishes, we'll head out immediately. Oh, okay. We'll be picking a few herbs and wild berries and roots. Do you have spices? Do you have? We'll be picking up a few herbs and wild berries and roots. Do you have spices where you from? Yeah, all sorts, actually. But I'm not too familiar with them. We didn't cook much back in our apartment. You share a home with someone, a partner perhaps? She parted lightly, a sly smile beneath her squinted eyes. No, nothing like that. We just share a room in the same apartment. What made you embarrassed? It felt nice to have someone approach the topic like a parent would. I hope he hasn't been too worried since I came here. You were brought here against your will. There mustn't have been opportunity to warn him. You were brought here against your will. There mustn't have been opportunity to warn him. Though I suppose there isn't a right way to describe how you came to be here either. You're right. You stayed close at least as she definitely walked the dirt paths weaving through the surrounding forest. You kept your wits about you. Scanned through the canopies of treetops, hoping to see some sign of civilization nearby. She said you were in the middle of the woods, but just how far out from civilization did that put her? Do you get all your food from foraging, ma'am? Only herbs and spices. Most things I do grow myself. Do you get it all from the forest? Are there no stores or towns you can go to? There's a stay across the mountain range from here. It's half a day's travel by carriage. Carriage, not car. I guess it would be even longer going on foot, and more dangerous. There are many hostile animals out there. Right. That made you a little uneasy, though. You couldn't help feeling curious. If this is the furry world you're in, then what would pharaohs actually look like? Here we are. This is my favorite foraging spot. You can actually find most of what we need right in this clearing. Elisa set down the wicker basket at her feet, signaling you to also put down the wooden pail nearby. Alright, there are 4 things we need to find here. We should make short work if we each take half the work. We'll need some flower petals, some berries, fibrous roots, and wild herbs. Okay. Elisa guided you towards a small pile of rocks. You could see quite a few flowers blooming in between the cracks, their petals drooping around the edges. These are called murophodes, usually grown in rocky spots such as these. Their petals are webbed and heavier around the edges, since that's where the nectar collects. Whoa, have you used these in your cooking? Of course, the petals give brewed tea a sweet yet very soothing fragrance. Now, help me move these rocks aside, dear. You lifted the rocks as Elisa instructed, holding the heavier ones up while the bunny lady gathered the flowers from the root. The rocks were only a little bigger than pebbles, but your arms were already feeling somewhat sore holding them around. Yeah, that should be enough. I hope you're not too tired out yet. Only a bit. I'll be alright. There's still plenty of room left in the basket. Let us continue. In the more shaded side of the clearing, you see many dangling plants with gaping maws, reminiscent of Venice flytraps. A large bulbous fruit hangs from its mouth. These are Cyrus moths. It uses its nectar gland to attract insects to trap into its maw. They're harmless to us, however, they're still crafty little plants. They will hide their glands if they sense their prey to be too big. Elisa demonstrated by poking at one bulb as it quickly deflated, leaving fibrous holes as it snapped its petals closed. The only way to harvest these is to be quicker than them. She definitely nipped the glands from the stem just before its petals could react. Whoa! You were still in awe, trying to process what just happened, while the bunny lady held the fruity glands in her hand like a water balloon. It takes time and practice to do what I did. Please, give it a try. Oh, okay. You spent the next while trying to gather the hidden berries in the way that she did. Most of your attempts failed, but at least you could move your arms a little faster. Maybe if you could do that more subtly, then the plant wouldn't be alert from miles away. Phew, I believe this should do for now. Will this be enough, ma'am? No, still 2 more, huh? You stood up and stretched for a bit while you realized the sun had started to set behind the tree line. You've been so engrossed in helping Elisa that you didn't notice how much time has gone by. Yes, but it is getting late. Nocturnal predators are sure to leave their dens. You should make haste back. Yes, ma'am. Phew, it's good to be back. Indeed it is. You work hard, Dave. I'll take care of these. Why don't you take a bath? Your clothes are all dirty. Oh no, I wouldn't feel right if I did first. It's your home. You should. I won't hear another word. Go on. I'll bring you a change of clothes in a moment. She took you by the part and pulled you firmly towards the bathroom. Really? You shouldn't trouble yourself, ma'am. I can just wear the same. Absolutely not. You've been wearing those clothes for days. They must be filthy and absolutely chafing. Now, off with them, or I'll undress and bathe you myself. She took a threatening step towards you, as almost immediately you took off your somewhat tattered hoodies in compliance. Good, supper will be ready once you're done. And don't forget to scrub behind your ears. Once Elisa closed the door behind her as she left, the sun snapped you back to reality. Wow, that actually happened. Man, it's true what they say. You really can get used to anything. Stripping down to your bare fur, you were underwater, settling and relaxing. It was nice today, getting out after what's happened. Really helped me get my mind off things. Still, I guess I should just adapt. No use worrying about what's happening back home while I'm stuck here. I just need to stay alive for now. This is my life now. Thank you for the food, Lisa. It's been good. You definitely deserve it after helping me restock. I brought in half. And on the top of a half task. I hope it is not imposing on you further if I ask for your assistance again tomorrow. Not at all. It felt nice to break out of the routine I had before. And besides, I still owe you for taking me in like this. Is that the matter, Elisa? I don't know, nothing at all, dear. I'm just admiring how well those clothes suit you. Miss Elisa. I said you didn't have to go through this much trouble for me. I would have been fine with my own clothes. It really is no bother, Dave. Those clothes haven't seen much use either way, merely collecting dust in my armoire. So these aren't your clothes? Oh, goodness me, no. These belonged to my son when he was about your age. He's long outgrown them and is off on his own now. I'm not even sure why I keep them around. Memories, I suppose. Right. So, do you miss him? I do, but a mother has to live with that. That child leaving their nest someday. Oh, look at me, old crone, getting sentimental over clothes. She laughed bountifully, but somehow something felt amiss. Maybe it's just the exhaustion in her voice. The rest of the dinner went on in silence until you both have finished. We ought to get to bed now. We've got a full day of activities to do tomorrow as well. That's right, I'll help. Thank you, Dave. We'll be expecting company over tomorrow. Oh, someone else that lives in these woods too? Not at all. He is an old acquaintance from the city. He visits me every so often. At least it doesn't elaborate much more on the topic when you move to ask. A yawn catches you mid-question. Go to bed, dear. I'll handle the dishes. Oh, leave this to me. I'll wash and put away the dishes while you go bathe. I suppose it can't be helped. I simply can't say no to such an eager young man. It does make me feel young again. She teases you, ruffling your hair as she makes her way down the hall towards the bathroom. Alright, time to do the dishes. After finishing with the task, you made your way back to the room you slept in. It was still quite jarring, but perhaps you could call this your room now. The rest of the evening was a blur. You can't remember whether you went to bed normally or just collapsed on top and fell asleep right away. You greet the next morning refreshed and ready to go. After a minutely brief breakfast, Elisa gives you the list of tasks to be done. You both set off to do what little chores need to be done around the cabin. You decide to prioritize. Drawing water from the well, you assist in watering Elisa's small vegetable patch as well as watering her poultry. Good work so far. Let's take a break now. Alright? You take a seat on the porch with Elisa, taking a long draw from the mug of cold water she pours you. Oh, that way hits the spot. It is very rewarding. Do you get company when out here in the woods? Not very often. Our visitor tomorrow is the only regular visitor I have. He usually comes this time every month with a shipment of supplies for me. Will it be alright if I'm here? Should I? That won't be necessary at all. In fact, I prefer you present with your wives. There's something I need to discuss with you both. Both of us. Yes, I'm afraid I haven't been completely honest with you, Dave. The gulp catches it in your throat, coughing up as you're caught by surprise. What do you mean? The pain began to set in your gullet again. Don't be alarmed. Please understand it's all been for your well-being. I'll explain it tomorrow at dinner, I promise. It takes a few minutes for her to finally coax you back from the brink of fear again. The atmosphere felt tense from then on as you resume the rest of the remaining chores. Uneasiness fills your movements, no longer a pebble your step as you turn her words in your head. God, it's no use overthinking this either. I'm here now, better take it as it comes. Dinner, huh? Gonna be a long few hours. Thus arrives just in time for you both to finish your respective chores. Elisa had refused to meet your gaze since this afternoon. Even when you came in after her, she immediately sent you to wash up in the bathroom, saying she'd wash up in the kitchen before starting dinner. Dinner itself was awkward and tense. Things didn't change much. We sat across from each other at a dining room table, and Elisa's cooking was still as delicious as before. But a dour look on her face made everything feel even worse. Are you going to tell me now? I really wish I didn't have. Elisa, where have you been hiding from me? Was it from the start? While you're here, I've given it some thought. I believe I know why you were brought here. You do? Then why haven't you told me yet? Because it would put you in danger. What do you mean? Elisa averted her gaze. Hesitation overtook her for the first few times she wanted to speak up. Eventually she looked to you with a resigned sigh. There is a prophecy that has been passed around in local folklore. Our land is in crisis. A terrible evil has been stretched across the continent and threatens to engulf us all. The prophecy has foretold of this darkness and has foretold a hero of strength from another world that will stop its spread. The evil king controlling that darkness had found you first and brought you here through foul magic. I managed to intercept you before you were taken to his stronghold. You are not what I would call a hero by most generous descriptions. Me and our men, young and old, have given their lives to pursue this legend, hoping that such an otherworldly being was a metaphor, and that otherworldly strength was their own to achieve through heroism. And many have perished in pursuit of such a foolhardy legacy. As Elisa fell silent, the room was filled with a heavy atmosphere. It took you a moment to even barely grasp part of what she just told you. That's absolutely crazy. Prophecies, dark evils, hills, what? I'm really not dreaming? Oh my lord, this sounds just like the plot to a very bad isekai anime. Dave, calm yourself, child. Her solemn command snapped you out of your stuttering mess, even if briefly. Oh, okay. You let out a massive sigh, taking your time to gather your thoughts again. Alright, none of this makes sense, but the cloaked figure, the transformation, this world, is this for real? Elisa gave you a quizzical look as if she's realized something suddenly. That cloaked figure, and that darkness that swallowed you from that park. There was no doubt there will lay it. Had I told you the details of this sooner, your panic will only amplify. I wait for you to have calmed down. I wait for you to have calmed and acclimated to your new body before informing you. But wait, if you could interrupt whatever magic or whatever that evil king used, couldn't you just send me back? I'm afraid I can't. The king has powerful magic at his disposal. While I may have disrupted his magic, I am no different than an average person. Average person? Everyone can use magic? Yes, to varying capacity. You press your head down against the table, feeling as if your world came crashing down again. First the craziness that was your transformation, now prophecies and dark lords. Dave, are you right? You looked up again as he called. The concerned frown on her face made you feel bad. Yeah, I'm okay, ma'am. Wait, but what does this have to do with your guest tomorrow? Again, Elisa hesitated, averting her eyes at anything other than you. He is part of an academy. Are you going to send me away? Dave, your life will be in peril if you stay here. I would ask him to take you with him back to the city to keep you safe. I guess I don't really have a say in this. If this is the only way to stay alive, on top of the fact that I still don't know how to get back home. Well, I don't really know about the prophecy stuff, but I'm grateful that you've been looking out for my safety. So thank you, Elisa. I trust that things will make more sense to you in time, dear. She could only give you a gentle smile as you both resumed eating in silence. You made sure to thank her for the dinner afterwards, before heading back to your room for the time being. You were still restless, even though it was already late in the night. Your mind was still an entangled mess, unsure what to make of the conversation you had at dinner. Eventually, you let drowsiness take over, where you could no longer linger on the heavy topic anymore. Whoa, whoa. You awake the next morning to the sound of little dogs barking outside. At least his guesstimate arrived already. Must be pretty large dogs by the sound of it. You rolled out of bed, clicking yourself up to at least make a good impression on this visitor. Good to see you still doing well, ma'am. Likewise, I'm happy to see you arrive this early. You could see Elisa greeting the new guest at the doorstep. He was a rather muscular wolf, husky, Malamute. You weren't sure what exactly he was, but you can't deny that he was quite attractive. Timidly you approached him as he began to notice you. Oh, and this is? Quite an opportune time to get acquainted. Max, this is Dave. Dave, this is Max. Hi, Max. Wait, isn't that? I loaned them to him for the time being. I barely had the chance to wash his clothes today. Oh, right. Hello, Dave. The canine forced a smile at you, but you could tell he still looked quite taken aback for some reason. I believe you arrived just in time for breakfast, Max. Come. Oh, wait, ma'am. You took a plate of food as per usual and sat across the dining table. At least prepare a new dish this time around, but you were too distracted by the new guest to really pay attention to it. He'd already left what seemed like his armor by a coat rack and slipped into a more casual shirt. Judging by the scar on his face and his well-toned body, the canine must be quite a seasoned warrior, or at least someone that's been through a lot. You can't keep your eyes off of him through the entire meal. Maybe you were just that curious. You also had many questions, but never really found the right time to strike up a conversation with him. He seemed to be chatting away quite cheerfully with Elisa, not once really paying attention to you. They must have quite the history with each other. After breakfast, Elisa tasked you and Max with the usual chores along with any leftover tasks from yesterday. Despite passing by each other a lot, Max didn't seem too interested in speaking to you. Maybe he's just distracted by his own work, but you couldn't help feeling quite bad about it. Before you knew it, Elisa was calling you both over for lunch break, to which you promptly joined her by the porch. Max, on the other hand, was still attending to those beast creatures in the stable. Just by what you heard earlier in the morning, you expected really big feral dogs, but instead they looked nothing like that. In all honesty, you weren't even sure what they looked like based on the animals you've seen back in your world. You had even more questions both about Max and those creatures, but they looked so fearsome that you wouldn't dare take a closer look, nor did you want to ask him or Lisa about it. After lunch, Max informed Lisa that he headed to the forest to do some hunting and foraging. You thought asking to join, but seeing how he insisted on going along despite Lisa's disapproval, you decided not to. Maybe he was quite a lone wolf. You spent the rest of the afternoon helping Elisa with chores until it was dinner time and Max returned with the bounties of his trip. You headed back to the dining room after having washed up. You could smell the delicious stew wafting from the large cauldron in the kitchen. Elisa probably referred to something quite unique like so to welcome Max. You couldn't help but chuckle a little as well. While Lisa wasn't a witch, you thought her using a cauldron to make stew was quite fitting. You held yourself to a delicious meal, which was quite satisfying after a day's work. And yet, something still bothered you. You couldn't help but feeling left out, seeing Max and Lisa chatting away again, albeit not as lively as they were in the morning. You decided to finish dinner early and excuse yourself back to your room. Max seemed to give you a real look after you left. You would be lying to yourself if being ignored was at all frustrating, even from a complete stranger. With a sigh, you decided to call it a day early, already too exhausted to ponder about this matter. It's been 2 days since Elisa's guest arrived, and the days seem to have slowly gone by like a routine. Breakfast, chores, lunch, more chores, or another foraging trip for Elisa, dinner time, bedtime. To think this a few days ago, you were still panicking left and right about whether or not you could live in this world. And yet here I am. In all honesty, I could get used to this. It's not so bad actually. If nothing else, this was a healthier lifestyle for you. Much healthier than constantly hunching over a desk staring at electronic devices all day long. You also began to worry less about how things were back home or trying to figure out how to get back, though the latter was more so for the conversation you had with Elisa the other day. Dave? Eh? Oh, you're right, dear? You've been staring at your suit for a while now. Is there something wrong with it? Oh, no. Oh, no, not at all. It's just, you took a while looking around to make sure the canine was not there. Yes? Max, right? He hasn't really spoken to me since he got here. He said he would be the one to take me to the city, right? But so far it looks like he's not very interested in that. Maybe in his eyes, there's just nothing special about me. Maybe I'm not worthy enough to come to the city. Hush, Dave. Oh, sorry. Did I say too much? Not at all. Well, I see how it is. Worry not, dear. You felt her hand softly caressing your head, which helped you calm down quite a bit. I'll have a talk with him later. Thank you, ma'am. You said, feeling your tail flicking left and right uncontrollably. It stayed that way even long after you finished dinner and helped Elisa clean the dishes. You also decided to hit the sack early that evening. You awake later that night, feeling quite thirsty and wanting to pee at the same time. After taking care of your business, you went down to the kitchen for some water when you heard some muffled chatter coming from a nearby room. It was one of the vacant guest rooms, probably the one Max would stay in. I mean, no offense, ma'am, but you can't just take any stray kid in the forest and crown him the next hero. It just doesn't work that way, I'm afraid. You felt quite uneasy hearing that from Max, but you were awfully curious. The door to his room was left ajar, so you decided to take a peek. I know he might not be a sign example of heroism, nor does he look the part, but the Dark King has marked him the hero of prophecy. That alone cannot be pure coincidence. And you would ask of me to take in a liability that could jeopardize the safety, the crystal coast, and the well-being of her people. I understand your righteous pursuit, ma'am, but clearly the pain you endured has blinded you. Max, have you any faith in me? Of course I do. I do not go under that name anymore. And yet you still have the same faith in my judgment, do you not? I do, ma'am. Then please, take him to the academy. Keep him safe. Train him to be one of your warriors, if you must. He may yet to be a hero of prophecy, and even we're